What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Toss the Mic YouTube channel. I'm Johnny Raider, and today we're going to be going over the last 5 Mr. Irrelevant picks. If you don't know what Mr. Irrelevant is, it's basically the last pick in every NFL draft over the past 5 years. So this year it was pick 257, the year before it was pick 259, and the year before that it was pick 262. Now you're probably wondering, why is it different every year? Well, every year there's different amount of compensation picks. For instance, this year, San Francisco had quite a bit because of the minority coaches that they brought up and they got hired elsewhere. So if you bring up a minority coach and they sign elsewhere, you will get compensatory picks. Or if you have a great player that signs elsewhere, you can possibly get a compensation pick. So that is exactly why there are different numbered picks for every Mr. Irrelevant every year. So with that being said, let's get right into the picks. So for this last draft, in the 2024 draft, the New York Jets had that pick. They picked safety Jaylen Key out of Alabama, though that might be a little bit misleading since he played most of his time with UAB, and he was an okay safety for UAB. He totaled 60 tackles in his last year there, solo tackles 41. He had 1 sack, he broke up 1 pass, forced a couple fumbles, and he had 3 picks of his own. So that was enough to transfer to Alabama. Now, he wasn't guaranteed no starting spot, but he did start in that Alabama defense. He wasn't that much of an effective starter, but he did pick off 1 pass against Middle Tennessee. He had 60 tackles, once again, identical to the numbers he had the year before, and with that, he earned himself the last pick in the 2024 draft. So obviously, he will have a chance to make a roster, and as we'll see in going on into this video, other Mr. Irrelevants didn't have much trouble making the roster. So with that being said, let's get right back into the next Mr. Irrelevant pick. In the 2023 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams held the last pick in the draft. The Mr. Irrelevant selection at pick 259, the Rams selected defensive end DeShawn Johnson out of Toledo, and he wasn't too bad. He did record 9 tackles, so that's not too many, but he did have 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble. Now that's a lot coming out of the last pick in the draft. So this is a big win for the Rams, and if I had to give this a scale out of 1 to 10, I'd give him a solid 8, because that's great value for the 7th round. So he's going to continue to be on the Rams roster, and he can be more than he is now. So let's get right back into the next pick. Now, obviously, in the 2022 draft, Brock Purdy was the Mr. Irrelevant selection, and I think we all know what Brock Purdy's done in this league, but if you need to be reminded, he was picked by the 49ers, number 262 overall in round 7 of the 2022 draft. He started off his career filling in against Miami, I believe, for Jimmy Garoppolo, and he didn't do half bad. In 2022, he totaled 9 total games played, 67% completion percentage on 170 attempts, 1,374 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, and 4 picks. That's a pretty good start, if you ask me. And then you go to the next year, obviously, he was in the MVP conversation. He completed nearly 70% of his balls, played 16 games, 4,280 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 picks. Now, that's no system quarterback. That is a great quarterback. He has 44 touchdowns and 15 picks across his entire career. Now, obviously, he does have some postseason experience. He's been to the Super Bowl, and he's been to an NFC Championship in both of his seasons. Now, obviously, they did lose the Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes on that game-winning overtime drive, and Brock Purdy did have a little bit to do with losing that Super Bowl, but you're talking about a Mr. Irrelevant last pick of the 2022 draft. And if you're looking on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective this quarterback was as a Mr. Irrelevant selection, I'd give this guy a 10 out of 10. I could give him 11 out of 10 if that's how scales worked. So with that being said, let's get right into the 2021 Mr. Irrelevant selection. It is Grant Stewart. He was drafted to Tampa Bay. They picked him. In college for Houston, Grant Stewart had himself a decent career. He had 61 tackles in his senior season. He had 97 in his junior season, so that's probably why he did get drafted in the 7th round, number 259. He had 2 sacks total in his career, 1 in his junior, 1 in his senior year, and he did pop onto the scene as a sophomore with 30 tackles. He was picked 259 overall by Tampa Bay, obviously, in round 7, and he didn't really do much, to be honest, with Tampa Bay. He recorded a couple tackles for him, but with the Colts this year, his most recent season, he had 7 total tackles. But the only real notable thing about Grant Stewart so far is that he recorded 1 forced fumble. So there you go. That's the only thing of note so far. He got cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's now with the Colts, and he's still in the NFL. So he obviously is better than average. He has gone past the 3-season average for most NFL players. So when it comes to the Mr. Irrelevant scale, I'll give him a solid 5. Now on to the last Mr. Irrelevant selection in 2020. This one's very underrated. This guy was a solid starter for the Giants. He was selected to the Giants 2020, round 7, 255 overall. Out of Georgia, it's Tay Crowder. He had himself a pretty great rookie season. He had 57 tackles in 11 games, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and he's got himself a pass deflection as well. Now he took it to the next level. In 2021, he led the team in tackles, 17 games played, 130 tackles. Now that's one heck of a linebacker right there. I know you can't judge him based on only tackles, but we're looking at a Mr. Irrelevant right here. So 130 tackles. Wow. Forced fumbles, 1. He's got 2 interceptions in that year and 6 pass deflections from him as well. So the next year in 2022, this is where things actually, hit the fan, as you'd say. He had 45 tackles in his first couple games, but then, he didn't really fit with Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator. He was benched, and then after the season, he was cut. And he's still a free agent to this day, so it started off pretty well. And on the Mr. Irrelevant scale, getting a starting linebacker leading your team in tackles, that'll get you a 9 out of 10 on the Mr. Irrelevant scale. That is going to do it for this video on the Toss the Mic YouTube channel. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to subscribe, check out our YouTube shorts, and go check out our Instagram, Toss the Mic Pod on Instagram. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day, fellas.